Hello everybody, and thank you for coming to my channel. My name is Lane, and I'm going to be giving you my opinions today on the main series Pokemon games. I know none of you asked for it, but you're getting it anyways, so get ready! Alright, and the main series, of course, consists of all of the main series games, from Generation 1 all the way through Generation 9, not including Legends EA, since as of right now, it hasn't come out. And I'm not going to be including any DLC. I probably should, because I do think some games would rank a lot higher if I included the DLC, but let's cut to the tier list. Alright, so as you can see towards the bottom, we do have all of our different games listed here, and let's go over the categories. So we have the top tier is going to be the best. I'll save that for the very end of the tier list, that way you guys know which game I think is personally the best, because you know I'm a professional, and my opinion matters. Next we have amazing, so that's going to be the top of the top games, but they're not my favorite. Then we have great, which is less than amazing, but better than fine, which is the next category. Under fine we have bad, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're the worst, because that's going to be in the don't buy category. And then we have never played. So I have played all of these games at least once. So I do think that I'm able to give a somewhat different, not definitive, of course, because I'm not, once again, I'm a professional, but I'm not going to be able to do all of that. So let's get started with red and blue. Now, red and blue, they're fine. I think they definitely served their purpose as the baseline for the Pokemon games. They were held together by Shoelace and a Dream, with all of the glitches, with all of the hardware limitations, with everything. But, you know, they made it through, they did their job. They're just not the best. Of course, it's not the definitive way to play through the Kanto games. They're fine. They did their job, they did their job well. I am gonna, however, go ahead and place yellow and great. I do think that, not by much, but it took what red and blue did and made it slightly better. I enjoyed the idea that this is the first game where you can have all three starters and Pikachu, and you're able to play through without having to do any trading shenanigans or anything like that. I do also enjoy how when you travel from town to town, it changes colors. It's the little things, you know? Like, it's just the little things. Gold and silver, I'm going to go ahead and place up in great as well. I don't think they're better than yellow. Honestly, I'm gonna place crystal up in great too, but it's gonna be better than gold and silver, but I do like it less than Pokemon Yellow. The Johto games were very challenged, is the best way to put it. The level scaling is horrendous. The graphics and everything were way better than Gen 1, but I think, and honestly even the storytelling, the continuation, me being able to travel to the Kanto region after, you know, I'm actually going to move Crystal up. Because Crystal is the first time you're able to play as a girl, and I love Chris. She is girl power in its entirety, because she's the first one. So yeah, the Johto games I love them. They're not these versions are not my favorite. So yeah, I think them both being in the great tier is pretty fitting. Next we have Ruby and Sapphire, which are also going to go in great. I'm probably going to have to move some things depending on that. But Ruby and Sapphire was my first game that I got when I was like 5. So, and it was new, so I'm old. But it was my first game. I enjoyed it. I love playing through them. I played through these games quite a bit. I do think that they were very limited in what they could do at the time. So yeah, I do think that they were great games. Fire Red and Leaf Green. Oh god, they're also gonna go in great. Gen 3 was such a great generation. And I'm gonna have to once again reorganize my list probably when I get a little closer to. But I personally love the Sevi Islands. I think the Sevi Islands, a lot of people don't like them, but the Sevi Islands added so much lore and so much to do in the Sinnoh game, especially post-game wise, which of course the Kanto games did not have at all. There was no post-game. So the Sevi Islands took it and ran with what Red and Blue did, and I think overall great games. Don't like them better than Ruby and Sapphire, but overall really good games. Okay, Pokemon Emerald is going to be our first amazing tier. I think when I say Fire Red and Leaf Green took what Red and Blue did and ran with it, Emerald took what Ruby and Sapphire did and sprinted with it. You have both evil teams. You have the Battle Frontier. You have rematches with the gym leaders and champions. You have a whole post-game battle with Steven because he's been replaced by Wallace, who is a lackluster champion. But you take some, you win. You lose some, you win some, you know. But overall, Emerald is an amazing game, and it deserves its place up in the amazing tier. Okay, let me do some re-raging here real quick. I'm gonna put... Don't give me hate. I'm just gonna try to make this even. I'll make it look prettier later. No, I'm gonna bump that. Okay, Diamond and Pearl. I am a huge Gen 4 stan. No, they're going here. They're going there. No. Okay. I love Generation 4 with a passion. I think Gen 4 was the first generation of Pokemon where I was more aware of what I was doing. Where in Gen 3 I was kind of just running around playing. I wasn't really putting much thought into it. Gen 4 was the first time I was able to actually like pay attention to what I was doing, and I think that I love the Gen 4. I just have so much nostalgia for it, so that is going to make my decision making a little bit biased here, but overall, Diamond and Pearl were great games. What's preventing it from going up into the amazing tier? No fire types, the surfing animation, super slow. I mean, overall, the game itself is just runs really slow. The fact that you can't back on the Poketch, like, what are they even doing? But all of these were actually rectified in Pokemon Platinum, and I'm going to rank Platinum higher than Emerald in the amazing tier. Because, like I said, they fixed all of this. You can battle the stat trainers. You have gym leader rematches where they have really strong, really nice teams. But yeah, overall, Platinum, I mean, you got different outfits. You got the Distortion World. You got the Battle Frontier being introduced in this game. Not that it was any better than the one in Emerald. I think the one in Emerald was actually a lot better. But you do have that addition here, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. Now, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I think... Like I said with Emerald, it took what Heart Gold or Gold and Silver did, and it sprinted. I mean, in the original games, you didn't even have certain things because of the limitations of the cartridge. Like there was no Viridian Forest, but in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they took and rectified all of those mistakes, and I just think that Heart Gold and Soul Silver were beautiful games. But I mean, think about it. Like even with the World Islands and the not the Burn Tower, but the Ho-Oh's Tower, like it's just those scenes with the kimono girls. Oh, so beautiful, so beautiful. All right, now we have Black and White, and I think Black and White are, you know, I'm gonna place them there. No, I think overall they're better than Diamond and Pearl. These games were one of the first games that really made me think because I had no prior knowledge to go off of. Because in these games, in case you didn't know, they introduce all new Pokemon that you have to use through the main story. You have nothing to go off of with your prior knowledge. I think the idea with the first gym leaders rotating depending on what starter you choose, brilliant. I think the idea behind first version exclusive gym leaders, brilliant. Even locations for version exclusive, brilliant. I think the story in Team Plasma, their whole everything, brilliant. And yeah, so overall, brilliant games. I love them. I don't think I love them more than their sequels though, which I'm gonna go ahead and put up here in amazing, which is why I can't put them in amazing because their sequels did everything so much better. Now Black 2 and White 2 I feel like I say this all the time, but they are just major improvements over the Black and White storyline. I know it's a continuation of it, but they introduced previous Pokemon. They have the Pokemon World Tournament, which was amazing. They have expanded locations. They you have the battles with Cynthia in both of these games. Like overall, just beautiful games. I love it. I think it was a great way to finish off the overall Black 2 and White 2. Now this got me thinking, maybe I think Red and Blue are bad. Not and don't buy, because I mean, hey, if you want to. But maybe I need to be bumping some things down. Let's put these down here, I mean, that makes it look a little bit more even, I guess. But yeah, X and Y, they're great. Not that great. They're great though. I think first games that introduced Mega Evolution, great. Anything that was going to be based off of France was already going to be big in my world. I took 6 years of France. I took 6 years of French through high school and college. I minored in it. I married a French Canadian, and I went to France actually, and I was visiting like the Palace of Versailles, which is based off of the Parfum. No, well, the Parfum Palace is based on the Palace of Versailles. And then I was in Paris, which is Lumio City, and overall just really, really cool to see those comparisons and to be like, oh, I'm living the dream, kind of. But yeah, overall, they're not amazing games though, because of course the graphics, the easy storyline. I mean, you're pretty much handed a cannon in the middle of the game, that of course being Mega Lucario, that makes everything a cakewalk. So how hard can it be? Which, yeah, I'm hopeful that Legends EA will make up from this level of easiness, and then we'll be able to get back to, hopefully, some Kalos love. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I am going to place them probably above X and Y. I do think that the introduction of all of the new Megas was really, really good. I think the fact that you can actually use more Megas in this, in the main storyline in this game, great. And X and Y, I think you can only use like 5 or 6. And then in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, pretty much any of them you can get by the time you fight the Elite Four. So that's great. Shiny hunting is a lot easier in this game. I think, yeah, just overall, really, really good game. I think they, without making too many advances off of what Ruby and Sapphire did, I think they really found their stride with the Hoenn region, and I think that they did a great job with it. It's a great game. Would recommend. Sun and Moon, I'm gonna put in fine. I did love these games. I think that the storytelling in this game was amazing. I do love Lily. I love Gladion. I even love How. I do think that the dialogue was horrible in it. Like, I could not keep. Well, I could keep up. That's kind of the problem. There was just so much of it. It was very slow, very daunting at times. But overall, I think the Alola games were very, very well made. I think the Alola region is very cohesive. I think that it was very nice. I love the Pokemon Rockruff, Oricorio. Those were very unique additions to the Pokemon team. The Z moves were okay. Not my favorite gimmick, but will approve. I do think Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were a lot better. I'll place them above Diamond and Pearl. I do think that the introduction of the Ultra Recon Squad and Ultra Megalopolis, or whatever it's called, and Ultra Necrozma, like, that fight is probably the first time I've, like, actually struggled. And even to this day, I don't really know how you're supposed to beat it without cheesing it with either, like, a Mimikyu or a Zoroark trying to get off Toxic and then Toxic stall it. Like, I don't really think that there's a better way to do it. But great games, love it. Once again, I feel I said this for everything, but it took what Sun and Moon did and then expanded, built, and then really improved. Let's go Pikachu and Eevee. I'm gonna put in fine. I'll put behind Sword and Shield. I do really love these games. I think the first step into the Nintendo Switch for Pokemon was great. The catching mechanics are a bit wonky because you're trying to catch it like it's Pokemon Go. I think it was very ambitious for Pokemon to step into this type of a catching style, strictly because it's never been done before, and they were really trying to profit off of the Pokemon Go craze. Storytelling, it was super easy to over-level your Pokemon in these games, so it really wasn't much of a challenge. I actually did a complete shiny team on this a couple years ago on my Twitch channel, and that took me like 6 months, but the shiny hunting was made so much easier in this game with the chain catching, and yeah, overall it was fine. It was good. I still think that Fire Red and Leaf Green are the definitive way to play these games, so if I have to tell you to pick one of those to play, I'd probably tell you to pick Fire Red and Leaf Green, which is why they're in the great one, and these are just fine. Now, Sword and Shield. They're gonna go higher than Let's Go, but they're still gonna be fine. They weren't bad at all. I do think that these games were very, very ambitious with the wild area, that having overworld Pokemon. I know that a lot of people are expecting more of an overworld with better trees, but I think it was very, very ambitious for Pokemon to take that first step into the open world, and it paid off. The gym leaders were kind of lackluster. I think the fact that they were so focused on the gym challenge throughout the entire game, and then it being more of a sport, just it made it feel less interesting to me, less competitive, which is ironic because it's supposed to be make it feel more competitive. But overall, they were fine. The Gigantamax Phenomena, whatever it's called, was fine. I don't think it would have been a selling point to me personally to get the game in the first place, just because, like with Mega Evolutions in X and Y, they made it so difficult to get them through your gameplay. Like, you have to initially, for me, I didn't catch any G-Max Pokemon. I had to wait until the DLC dropped for the Isle of Armor to get the Max Mushroom Soup or whatever and go that route with it. So overall, they're fine. Alright, we've reached Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which they're going to go in bad. Because I am such a Gen 4 Sinnoh stan, these games did not improve. Well, they improved on a lot of the gripes, but that doesn't make them good. So the surfing speed, improved. You can do trainer customization to an extent, improved. You can catch more than 2 fire types, improved. Even like they tried to marry the Pokemon introduced in Pokemon Platinum with the initial teams with the Sinnoh Underground. So I mean, that's an improvement. However, this is a faithful remake, and they even kept all the glitches. So I wish that they would have added more. Like, to this day, I have not even completed the Ramanos Park stuff. So yeah, it was fine. It wasn't great, but I would not recommend these games. I do think Pokemon Platinum is still the definitive way to play through the Sinnoh region. Now, Legend Arceus. I'm going to bump it to the top of the amazing tier. This, actually, spoiler, I'm just going to go ahead and bump it up to the best. This is my favorite Pokemon game. Sinnoh stan, that's me. And I just think that it was such a unique take on the Pokemon algorithm. No gym leaders, just wardens, going back in time, playing as in the playing in the past. It was very, very cool. I loved the game. I play through it still to this day. I shiny hunt in there a lot. Yeah, just an amazing game, amazing story, amazing characters. The fact that you can meet ancestors to a lot of the characters introduced in the modern Pokemon games. It's just a chef's kiss. Amazing. I love it. Now, Scarlet and Violet. I am going to go ahead and bump them up to great. They're not amazing. Yeah, no. I'll put them there. Yeah, I think they're... there. I like that spot. Since I'm not including the DLC... the DLC was included, I think the story with Kieran would have bumped it up. I know a lot of people don't like Kieran because they think he's whiny. I was Kieran as a child. I was super competitive. I didn't like to lose. I was him, so I may have related to him a bit too hard. But the base game for Scarlet and Violet, there were so many glitches upon release, which I don't think we should judge a game purely based on glitches, but I just don't think it added a ton. I don't like the cookie cutter shape of how the open world looks. I wish it was more cohesive, like in Tears of the Kingdom, for example. It's just like randomly stop and then snowy mountain, like your grassy field and then just stop mountain. Like, it wasn't cohesive. It didn't feel like you were actually changing environments. It felt like you were stepping into from one zone to another zone. And yeah, overall, Area Zero, fantastic. Love that place. I think that was probably one of the most beautiful places in all of the Pokemon games that I've personally ever played, which is all of them. And yeah, I do love the story with the three ways home. I don't think that was what it's called, but yeah. So here's my tier list. A lot of greats, a lot of finds, some amazing, some bads, and one best. So if you guys did enjoy this, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I will try to do more of these in the future if you guys are interested. And yeah, with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!